It's come to my attention that there is a large community of Kindle lovers. There's a whole system. People are buying stands for their Kindle. People are sharing the stickers that they'll put on the back cover. They're doing tips, hacks, things that they love with their e-reader. So now that I'm kind of been dabbling in this community for a few years and recently uncovered some of the new hacks and things from being part of these Facebook groups and just reading online, I thought it'd be interesting to share some ways that you can enter your Kindle Girl era. Listen, I know that there are a lot of people who are just going to be a hardcore physical book girl. Love that. But there are some practical reasons why I've entered this new phase of life or this new reading phase of life. Some of the reasons why I personally was an anti e-reader. Well, if you buy a book or you receive a book, you can hand it off to another friend and it gets another life. Like, I really love this book and I think that you're going to love it too. Package it up, give it to somebody, and there's something really special about community, about being able to share books in that way. There's also the smell factor. I'm not really sure. I think this is a thing that people really like the smell of books, of paper. That's why a lot of people will just collect and just say, this is my collection of books. It's just classic. Being able to sit, have a cup of coffee or tea, and then be by a nice window with a book. And it's so great to be able to do that. Now, I want to give you some reasons that I finally went into switching over to being primarily an exclusive ebook reader. I actually recently bought a new paperwhite because I lost one on the plane, and I had that old one on the plane, the one that I misplaced. I misplaced my beloved Kindle Oasis on a flight. I was sitting on the flight, probably just slid down the crack. When you wake up, I was taking a nap, I'm tired, jet lagged, and I just wake up, and then you shuttle everybody, got to grab my daughter, got to make sure my bags are ready. It's a very stressful experience. So then I replaced it with this Kindle Paperwhite, and I've been part of a Facebook group for Kindle lovers for a while now. So it's come to my attention that some people might need some tips, how to get started, or why to start. So I talked about some of the reasons why I was hesitant to become an e-reader years ago, and some of the top reasons I've come around. So why have I come around? What are some of the reasons why somebody might prefer an e-reader, or at least like it and enjoy it and be willing to try it? So the first one is portability. I can have access to thousands of books at my fingertips. And okay, let's think about this. So if I wanted to read a book and I'm on vacation and I have a few books that I have in mind, I'm going to bring 2 books. And what happens is, imagine that I didn't enjoy one of them. I didn't know. I brought it on vacation and I started it and I didn't like it. Well, with a Kindle, I can easily download another book or another one and another one and test unlimited ones without having to worry about packing and all the weight of those books. So when I look it up, a Kindle Paperwhite without the case is about 7.5 ounces. If you were looking at a paperback book, that's also about 7.5 ounces, or like 7 ounces. It goes from 6 to 12 ounces is what the range on Google tells me. Now, the thing is, 1,000 times, I can have access to 1,000 books still for that same 7.5 ounces. Whereas if I wanted 1,000 physical copies, it's going to be a lot more. We also, I'm trying to be a little bit more minimal. I only read once. I'm not a person that rereads often. No. I'm just had a weird ADHD moment and starting thinking about Rihanna. But I'm not a person that rereads books often. And with that said, the main benefit that somebody might be is just to give it away or something like that. But having access to so many books is a big perk. So then you might argue, well, I have that on my phone. I have an iPad. I have a laptop. I have access to technology that's going to be able to do the same thing. So are you really selling me with the idea that you can just have that at your fingertips with this? Why do I need to buy another gadget? Why do I have to charge another tool? So I'd say it's going to be about the eye strain. We have come so far with technology. 4K is kind of the industry standard when it comes to videography. Then like Japan are already going to 8K, and they have been for years and years. So when I talk about like pixel density or like that type of quality, then why would I need another device that kind of looks a little bit old or dated? Well, there's something about the e-ink that makes it a lot better on the eyes. So you're not really straining at all to read, and it also makes it easier to read in the sunlight. So if you ever wanted to just imagine you're on the beach, you want to grab a book and sit and enjoy, this replicates that experience of having a physical book because it's just so easy on the eyes. It's not difficult to read in direct sunlight, whereas if I had an iPad or if I had my phone out, it's prone to overheating, and it also can't get bright enough to make it easy to read. Whereas this one, like with Kindles, they're made to be able to do that. It supports that so well. Like I can read it in direct sunlight painlessly. So also, if you struggle a little bit, I'll take out my contacts. I'm a primary contacts wearer, don't love wearing my glasses. And if I am winding down, I can have my contacts out. I don't even need to worry about grabbing my glasses, but I can increase the font size. I can change it to dark mode. I also don't have to disturb Horton when he's going to bed because sometimes he'll go to bed earlier than me, and I want to wind down and read a few chapters of a good book. If I had a bedside lamp, it would make it a little bit more difficult for him to fall asleep. So for the e-readers, it's great because I don't have to worry about having a bedside lamp. I know that you can buy one of those little clip-on things for a book. You clip it on, it has a little light, and it kind of is attempting to minimize the amount of light give off so that you can read without disturbing somebody else. You can also do it on your phone. So the main point is like portability. It's convenient, it's easy to read, and in the sunlight it's not going to bother you. You can increase the font. It's awesome. It's also really convenient. So taking that analogy of going to the beach and having a couple books, if I decided I want something or I started a book and I thought I would like it, I don't like it, which, side note, give yourself permission to stop reading a book if you don't like it. Like, you only have one life. Why waste it trying to suffer through a book that you don't like? But you can easily access different books. I don't have to wait to go to the library. I don't have to like meet up with a friend to switch up books. So yeah, it's pretty convenient. Battery life is also going to go under the idea of convenience. My phone would be prone to overheating. It could die. Like if I'm out and about for the day, I don't want to waste my battery life by reading for hours and hours and hours, whereas my Kindle could go really long time. I don't know. I'm going to say weeks without recharging. Depends on if you're connected to the internet and use, but generally I can go a few weeks without charging at all. The next point would be distraction-free reading. So this is a huge perk because I am somebody who is like scrolling. I am prone to the brain rot. There's so much available and so much content that there's like switching apps, go to this thing, watch endless scrolling. And for me to be able to charge my phone, put it away from me for several hours so that I can dive into a good book, distraction-free reading, huge. I also notice that when I read with my daughter as she's falling asleep, it's not as distracting. She tends to notice like, oh, I want to watch a video and I'll play a game on your phone or something like that. If I put my phone away, she's not going to be as distracted or trying to interrupt with the reading on the Kindle. She is curious about it though. She knows that it's touchscreen and stuff like that. And then another point is lower cost. So we talked about the library and physical books, but the library app Libby also has a really great way to download and borrow digital copies. So I can go to Libby and download ebooks. Sometimes there's a line as well, but it goes by so fast. I'll just put myself on the waiting list for some of those digital copies, and it's so easy. I don't have to make a trip. I don't have to make a day out of it. Instead, I just wait in line. They'll send me a notification, say this book that you've been waiting for is ready. Go to the app, borrow it. My library does a 21-day loan, which is plenty of time, and then I'll borrow it, and it goes to my Amazon account and then goes to my Kindle. Love it. So easy, so seamless. I think a lot of libraries are doing Libby right now. See if your library does it. I haven't tried it. Maybe you're like, I don't want to read from my phone. It's not as comfortable, but that's one of the perks because I can send it to my Kindle and really enjoy reading it from there. One of the hacks that I'll touch on more later is that when you do that and you send a whole bunch of books, if they're fully downloaded, then you can go to airplane mode and have them for a longer time if you feel like you need more than 21 days. Okay, so if you were convinced, if you were still here because I've somehow convinced you that there is something in the Kindle girl world, let's talk about how to get started. So the first one would be finding the right Kindle. I have spent a lot of time, especially since I recently misplaced my Kindle Oasis, RIP, looking at the more recent editions and series and versions. You can get Kindles secondhand pretty inexpensively. I think that people find that they wanted to try out e-readers and maybe it wasn't for them or they received it for a gift. Facebook Marketplace is a good place. I've also heard some great things about unclaimed baggage. So you can go to unclaimedbaggage.com or whatever, wherever they are, and see what Kindles are available there. I think they have a long lifetime, so that might be a good place to start if you don't want to invest right away. One of the nice things is if you do buy new from Amazon, then they'll come with like a free Kindle Unlimited whatever, like to start. I think a 3-month with a purchase. This one that I bought was new. I wasn't eligible for the 3-month purchase because I already had it. Like they knew that I'm a Kindle user, blah, blah, blah. But there are workarounds. You could use a different account to make the purchase. You can also buy Amazon refurbished. There are a lot of ways to get a Kindle inexpensively. Now, a lot of people really enjoy personalizing them, and I found this, I was really intrigued by the whole thing. Actually, with my Kindle Oasis, I had one of those flip type of covers so that you would open up, turn the cover to the back. But this time around, I bought one that just had a clear case so that I can showcase more of my personality and also prevent myself from losing it. So I got this. Pop socket placement is a big thing. I found that people, they're like, are you always reading on your right? Do you want to read with both hands? Are you leaning on one side? And then do you want to switch over to the other side to read with your left hand where you're holding it with your left hand? So I got a pop socket and I put some stickers on it. I really love the idea of having that personality. I also opted for, I'm so prone to normally buying technology that is black, maybe for resale value or just whatever. But I finally ended up getting this one, which was my replacement purchase since I lost my Oasis. I got it in this like nice little muted green. I'd call it like a sage green or jade or whatever like that. I bought it because it would help me not lose it, and then a fun little pop socket so it's easier to hold, which I do think the Oasis was a little bit like it was meant to have this little lip so that it was easier to hold, but it was a bit too sleek. Like you really needed some more texture. So this little silicone clear case was advertised as a bundle. When you buy it, you're like, oh, would you like this? How much you like this? And so I went ahead and got it with the case back, which was highly recommended. And then I looked into the pop socket placement or the holder placement. Some people were like, why not have two? I think that's a little bit crazy. And then people take it so seriously. They're like, where do I place this thing? Honestly, you get pop sockets. I have a whole bunch in a box because I don't really want it on my phone. It's like, you can move it. And someone on a Reddit thread was like, why not have two? Who cares? Just have two pop sockets. That's a little bit too much for me, but who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind if I ever get carpal tunnel or something with my wrist. Oh my gosh, and I didn't even talk about that with the convenience. If you ever read a hardback book, a big, thick hardback book with one hand, owie, like I got bad wrist. I've got tendonitis and all of that stuff. So this is more lightweight. Could you imagine reading a 700-page hardback book single-handedly? Like you couldn't do that for long periods of time. But like I got it all in one hand. Oh God. I got it all in one hand and I can even do this. Let's go to this next point. I don't spend a lot of money on books. I'm cheap, especially if I don't know if I'm going to like it, especially if I don't get the joy of regifting it. So paying money for a digital book just seems a little bit, I don't know, luxurious, something that I want to avoid. So in order to manage that, there are a couple things. So I talked a little bit about how you can hack your way with the Libby book library. The authors will get like a certain limited license to libraries. So for instance, if I go to the Libby app right now, there might be 10 digital copies for a certain book. And you can wait in line and it will say like, this is going to take 6 weeks for the book to come, 8 weeks for the book to come. When the book finally comes, pressure's on. But if you're busy, maybe you're in the middle of other books, or like I'm working, got a kid, and you're not sure that you can read that in the given time, well, you can completely download it to your Kindle. And as soon as you turn on airplane mode, that copy can be yours until you reconnect to the Wi-Fi. This is probably a gap that Kindle and Amazon are trying to close, and the library, because, if people are figuring out and doing this hack, then they're not able to sell more subscriptions to Kindle Unlimited. They're not able to sell digital copies of books when people are hoarding or like hiding them. But I do think that and with care, that it's fine. It's not like I'm selling a brick and saying, hey, I got all these books in here, I'll give it to you for $5. It's all on there. That's not the case. Like, I'm just trying to save money, guys. There are more nefarious things in the world than this. So to reiterate, I'll go to Libby, I'll download, and when I finally get the book, I'll send it to my Kindle, and then you have to make sure it's fully downloaded. And there's this little check mark on the book to show that it's fully downloaded. If that check isn't there and you try to read it in an airplane mode, then it won't work. It'll say that you need to connect to the Wi-Fi. Sometimes there's also a little bit of a risk if you have a restart or you let your Kindle completely die and then you charge it and turn it on, then it will require you to connect to the internet and you'll lose those books. But it's fine. Like, as long as you are probably planning to finish it in 2 months instead of 1, you're good to go. The fun thing that even started this journey and this conversation is communities. Book communities. I love reading on Goodreads, different reviews. People are funny. They're just like have such loud personalities. There's somebody that I found that was called The Girl with the Pink Ski Mask, and she has this really fun rating scale. All right. So lots of people are doing reviews in the rating scale, and I'm probably a very generous rater. If you look at my Goodreads and you look at my ratings, I'm a little bit embarrassed because people are like, what? I hated that book. But I don't know. If I enjoyed it, if I finished it and I didn't feel like it was a waste of my time, fine. 5 stars, 4 stars. I'm a generous rater. One other really interesting thing is there's this event from Amazon called Stuff Your Kindle Day. It's Stuff Your Kindle Day, and you can go and all of the books are free. Like, what? There's curated list and blogs for this one day, once a year. You can go and download tons and tons of books. And once you download them, you're purchasing them. It's not a loan like Libby, and it's not like a subscription-based thing like Kindle Unlimited. You are purchasing them, and that copy is yours forever. And if you got a new Kindle, you can then send those same books. That digital copy is yours to keep. And I thought that was really cool. I only learned about it last year. So let's look at it. Stuff Your Kindle Day. Stuff Your Kindle Day is typically mostly romance-related books. If you're not into that, I think you'll still find that there are some things that are romance adjacent. There are people that will post things and curate lists. They're all free. Like, why not try? If you're trying to prioritize your time, there are people who will curate lists and say, save this for Stuff Your Kindle Day. Why would an author participate? What I noticed is that a lot of these books on Stuff Your Kindle Day are part of series. So they might give you book 2 out of 3 for free, or they'll give you book 1. And then if you're hooked, which they're hoping you'll get hooked, then you'll purchase 2 and 3. So that is a really great book deal. Libby is friggin' free. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think the last thing that I want to talk about is how to accessorize your Kindle. I've seen this in the group, like no shade to the group. Okay, a little bit of shade, but they will have a Kindle stand, and you can also, so you'll be reclined in your seat and you or a bed, and they'll hold the book up, right? The book will be here, and you can have instead of having to reach your arm and flip the page, you can get a remote, you can get a stand, you can get a stand that holds snacks. You are just in it. You're like a freaking, I don't know, like this is just taking reading and almost like potato energy all in one, and people are loving it. Like what pop socket do you like? What kind of page turner do you like? What kind of stand do you like? I'm gonna have to do that. This is just gonna have to be its own video because this is getting into some wild territory. I'm judging a little bit, but I personally have not enjoyed that. Like I haven't partake. I did not partake. So how do I know it's bad? It looks like a good time. I mean, there's just so much to unpack with the Kindle community, and that's a big part of why I was inspired to make this video. So I'm gonna have to do some more digging, and once I start collecting some of those interesting tips and tricks and things, and maybe I'll just try it. I don't want to knock it before I try it, so I could try a stand and a page turner for, I don't know, a week or two, and then come back to you with some more insights. But this is pretty much the things that you're going to need to enter your Kindle Girl era. It's so convenient. There's people who are saying like you can get a sling bag that will fit your Kindle. I'm actually going to have to find that so that you can fully appreciate what I'm talking about. Here's my Camelback bag. I've used this. It's a water bottle bag, which, you know, is interesting in itself. Without a water bottle, I can comfortably place my Kindle in here. I've got a spot for my phone. Oh, okay. So my phone is being used, but I can put my phone in here. I can put my keys, and then I also have my Kindle, and it's all, I can do this. People used to see me walking around the neighborhood. They're like, "Oh, I saw you reading. Isn't that kind of dangerous?" Like we all have peripheral vision. It's the same thing as if I was endlessly scrolling on TikTok. Everybody freaking does it. Why are you judging me for reading? Like, it's probably less distracting if I'm being honest. So I can walk around, I can go hands-free, got my dog harnessed on my waist. I'm reading. It's good. I'm living life. Got chapters in. The Camelback bag, since I'm showing it, I might as well tell you that if I were to repurchase this, I wouldn't have gotten the pink mauvey color. This pink got so dirty, dusty, I need to toss it in the wash. I would have much rather gotten like a print, something a bit darker so that it wouldn't look so dingy early, because now I wish that I could have a different color now. But yeah, so you can also probably fit it in a fanny pack. I'll do a little comparison for you right now too. Like, so this is the size of the Kindle Paperwhite, and then I'll hold it up against, what is this? This is a pretty old Kindle. This is about that size comparison. There we go. Maybe half an inch difference. And this is with a pretty thick case. There we go. And then the only reason I got an upgrade here, we're not even talking about the Oasis that I had replaced it with. This was just overheated, and it's so many years old, but I keep it because it will hold a charge, and I like to have a backup Kindle. I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of what the stickers I have on are. So I can close it and open my pop socket. It's not too far from the left side that I can still comfortably hold it with either hand, although I primarily have set it off to the right so that I can use it with my more dominant hand, and I can do one-handed reading and turn the page. This one, I finally sprung the extra $20 to be able to get rid of the ads. Now, if you are not a Kindle girl and you're like, ads, you paid money over $100 to get ads, let me tell you, it's really not that bad. All it is that when you wake your book up, there will be like a recommended title. It could be something that you're already reading or considering. It could be something that the algorithm thinks that you want to read. So there it is. Even if you're on airplane mode, they'll log and cache a whole bunch of different versions for you. So every time you unlock or are preparing to unlock, the cover will look like that. So I finally did it because I started to get into reading some spicy books, and these friggin' guys would like no shirt on will be on the cover, and that is so embarrassing. I don't want my daughter to see it. I don't want people around me to see it. So I finally sprung the $20 and I just did it. I got rid of it. There have been people saying that you can contact support and maybe that you complain about the ads, that they'll remove it for free, but people have been getting mixed results with that. And I was just like fed up. I can spring the $20. I don't pay for Spotify, but I will pay for $20 to remove the ads from my Kindle paperweight. So I've been yapping at you guys for so long. I hope that this gives you some insight into what the freaking Kindle girl era is. If you're interested, I've been reading Kindle pretty much exclusively for years. Prior to the Kindle, I had a Nook and from Barnes and Noble, and they have since been, I think, acquired. There are a few competitors, but this is reigning so strong. If you guys don't remember, Amazon used to be a bookstore. Like, Amazon was first meant for books before it became like what we know it as today. So with that said, I'm going to be doing some research. I'm going to buy some of these wild Kindle accessories, and I'll come back to you with some insights in the next one. All right. Thank you, and subscribe if you're interested in anything self-development. I'm going to be posting some more stuff soon and hopefully regularly. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.